Taylor Himnes here at Centerpoint Medical Center in Independence right now in the ICU. This is not a sign you want to see anytime the holiday season, but it is one that's possible if you're not taking proper precautions when it comes to the flu. Dr. Brian Haas is in this room waiting on me, so we're going to talk about the flu a little bit. Dr. Haas, how bad is the flu right now in our area, would you say?
Well, unfortunately, we are starting to see a fair number of flu cases that are starting to come in. And as you mentioned out front, definitely some of those flu cases are quite sick patients, yes.
Do you think that a lot of people think of this where you could be ending up if I get the flu? I think a lot of people, I'll get the flu, I'll be in my own bed for a week. But a lot of people have to come to the hospital for the flu.
You're absolutely right. Most of the time, I think people think of the flu as something very benign. But in fact, it is actually very serious. And actually, Australia is where we get a fair number of our data because they're wrapping up their flu season right now.
Okay.
And if their flu season is anything to indicate, we could be in for one heck of a doozy this year.
So it's typically something that we can base off of what Australia does. That's normally a pretty good judge of what we're going to expect here.
Exactly, because they're in the southern hemisphere, and so we're in the northern hemisphere, and they're finishing up their winter, and we're starting ours.
So a lot of people are going to be seeing this as we get close to Christmas time and kind of in the middle of the season. Most important question I want to ask you today, is it too late to get a flu shot?
Absolutely not. Everybody should be getting a flu shot. I mean, anyone from the age of 6 months to over 65, and especially those patients that have significant health problems to begin with. So those patients with diabetes, heart disease, lung disease, these are the patients that really would benefit more than anybody else from getting a flu shot, but everybody can, because even people that are healthy can still get the flu and can get really, really sick from it.
Anyone who's ever watched a local television newscast has likely heard us say something about the flu. We do tons of stories about the flu.
Sure.
Why doesn't it sink in with people that this is a serious thing that people need to do more about? Why do you think?
Unfortunately, it's because I think people still look at this as something that's a benign disease, but it's not. Yeah. We still have really, really sick patients, and when people end up on a ventilator, they see how serious it can be. So I just want to implore everybody, please go get a flu shot, because it really does. Even if you were to get the flu, it's going to minimize your symptoms if you do get the flu shot.
Because these are healthy people ending up on a ventilator when they get to the hospital.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, high-risk patients certainly, but healthy people can still get the flu and still end up on the ventilator.
So what do people need to do to avoid the flu as best they can? In addition to the flu shot, what kind of precautions can I take? Can my kids take? What can we do to make sure we don't get the flu?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, hand hygiene. I can't stress that enough. Making sure that you're not only washing your hands, but washing your hands for the appropriate duration of time. So a good way to do that is to sing the ABCs. I know it's silly, but sing the ABCs while you're doing that, while you're washing your hands, and that can help. The other thing is to making sure that you, when you do cough, that you're coughing into your shoulder, and then covering it up with a sleeve or something of that nature so that you're not spreading the disease. And then also, it'd be important to not send your kids to school if they're sick.
Yeah.
And then also, if you are sick, don't come to work. Try not to be a hero in that situation, because you don't want to spread that illness to everybody else.
Just because this is a medical question, I can sing the ABCs under my breath, right? I don't have to sing it out loud while I'm in the bathroom.
Correct, absolutely. In your mind, under your breath, however you need to do it, absolutely.
Just want to make sure of that. Dr. Haas, thank you so much. For Your Health Matters, I'm Taylor Himnes.